Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Code with Simba. We're diving deep into the world of digital advertising today.
Ooh, exciting.
I know, right? And, we asked you to send in stuff, and boy, did you deliver.
Yeah, we got a ton of great articles, research, all sorts of
So
things.
much to unpack. We're going to cover everything from, how digital advertising has evolved over time
Oh, yeah, from like the very beginning.
to the crazy world of programmatic.
Definitely got to talk about that.
And, of course, what all this means for you, the listener, like how brands are trying to reach you.
It's a whole new world out there.
And get this, digital ad spending is predicted to be over 60% of total media spending this year.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah, it's officially bigger than traditional ads like TV and print combined.
That's insane. Digital advertising really is everywhere now.
It's true. Think about it. Websites, social media, those ads you see when you're streaming.
It's inescapable.
I know it's come a long way from those basic banner ads we used to see.
Remember those? Like just static images?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally remember. It feels like the internet dark ages now.
It does, doesn't it? But it's amazing how much things have changed even just in the last few years.
Totally. We've gone from those simple images to interactive experiences, personalized recommendations.
And don't forget those autoplay videos that somehow know exactly what you were just thinking about.
It's kind of creepy sometimes.
It is, but that's where programmatic advertising comes in.
Oh yeah, programmatic. Tell us more about that.
So it's all about automation and using data to make sure the right people see the right ads at the right time.
Okay, so how does that actually work?
Well, imagine this. Every time you load a web page, there's like a mini auction happening behind the scenes.
An auction.
Yeah, and it all happens super fast, like in milliseconds.
Milliseconds. That's crazy.
I know, right? And advertisers are basically bidding on the chance to show you their ad.
So it's like a bidding war for my eyeballs.
Basically. And the bids are based on your interests, your behavior, all sorts of data.
So it's all about targeting. Okay, this is getting complicated. Who are all the players in this digital advertising game?
All right, so think of it like a matchmaking service.
Yeah.
You've got the advertisers, the ones who want to show you their products or services.
Okay, so like Nike or Coca-Cola.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have the publishers. They're the ones who own the websites or apps where the ads actually appear.
So like news websites or social media platforms.
Yep. And to connect those two, you've got these platforms called DSPs and SSPs.
DSPs, SSPs, what are those?
DSP stands for Demand Side Platform, and SST stands for Supply Side Platform.
Okay, that makes sense.
So advertisers use DSPs to manage their programmatic ad campaigns and target specific audiences.
So they're setting the rules for who they want to reach.
Yeah, and publishers use SSPs to manage their ad space and, make sure they're getting the most bang for their buck.
So it's all about maximizing their revenue?
Exactly, and then you've got these things called ad exchanges.
Ad exchange.
They're like the digital nightclub where all these players come together to buy and sell ad space.
Wow, it's like a whole ecosystem.
It is a whole ecosystem, and it's all happening in real time.
That's wild. So why go through all this trouble? What's the big advantage of programmatic advertising?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is cost efficiency.
Cost efficiency.
Yeah. Instead of just blasting your message out to everyone, you can use programmatic to target very specific groups of people.
So it's like laser-focused marketing.
Exactly. You're reaching people who are actually likely to be interested in what you're offering.
So it's a win-win for advertisers and consumers?
Ideally, yes. Advertisers get better results, and consumers see ads that are more relevant to them.
But speaking of consumers, how does all this impact you, the listener? What should you be aware of as you're browsing the web?
That's a great question. Well, you've probably noticed that ads are getting more and more personalized these days.
Oh yeah, it's like they're reading my mind sometimes.
I know, right? That's because advertisers are using data to understand your interests, your behavior, all sorts of things.
And that data is coming from everywhere, right? Like my searches, my purchases, the websites I visit.
Exactly. And there are a lot of regulations and changes happening right now that are impacting how your data is collected and used.
Like what kind of changes?
Well, for example, there's GDPR in Europe and CCPA here in California.
I've heard of those, but I'm not really sure what they are.
They're basically privacy laws that give you more control over your data.
Oh, okay, so that's a good thing, right? More control for the consumer.
Yeah, and then there's the whole thing with Google phasing out third-party cookies.
Cookies, like the ones I eat.
Not those kinds of cookies. These are like little files that websites use to track your activity.
So they're watching me.
In a way, yes. But the idea is to make advertising more relevant to you.
Okay, so if those third-party cookies are going away, how are advertisers going to keep up with all this targeting magic?
It's a big challenge, but it's also forcing the industry to get more creative.
So what do they do?
Well, we're seeing a rise in the use of artificial intelligence, or AI, and machine learning.
AI in
What?
advertising.
Yep. These technologies can help advertisers target ads based on broader trends and interests, even without knowing your specific browsing history.
So AI steps in to fill the void left by cookies.
Exactly. It's both impressive and a little unsettling.
That's technology for you, always moving forward. So speaking of moving forward, what are some of the other exciting trends emerging in the digital advertising world?
Oh, there are tons. Let's start with connected TV, or CTV.
CTV, what's that?
It's basically any TV that can connect to the internet, like your smart TV, your gaming console, your streaming device.
Oh yeah, I definitely see more ads when I'm streaming shows these days.
It's a huge opportunity for advertisers because it allows them to reach audiences who are cutting the cord on traditional cable.
So it's like the future of television advertising.
Exactly, and it allows for more targeted and interactive advertising experiences.
So it's not just those same old commercials over and over again.
Nope, you can target ads based on what people are watching, what time of day they're streaming, even their location.
That's pretty cool. But what about those giant digital billboards you see in cities? Are those part of this digital advertising world too?
Absolutely. That's digital out-of-home advertising, or DOH.
DOOH.
It's where traditional outdoor advertising meets digital technology. Think interactive billboards, screens in shopping malls, ads on public transportation.
I love those interactive billboards. They're so cool. So digital advertising is breaking free from our screens and becoming part of the physical world.
Exactly. And it's only going to get more immersive and engaging.
So what other mind-blowing innovations are on the horizon?
Well, one area that has a lot of potential is AI-powered ad creation and targeting.
AI creating ads.
Yep, specifically generative AI.
Generative AI.
It could revolutionize how ads are designed and personalized. Imagine an AI that can create unique ad copy and visuals tailored to each individual viewer in real time.
Hold on, is that even possible? It sounds like sci-fi.
It's closer than you think. Generative AI is still in its early stages, but the potential is enormous.
So AI could be writing jingles and designing graphics soon.
It's definitely possible. And it's not just about creating the ads themselves, it's about optimizing entire campaigns.
So AI is basically taking over the advertising world.
Not taking over, but definitely playing a bigger and bigger role.
It's incredible. It feels like we're on the verge of a whole new era in advertising.
It's an exciting time to be in this industry, that's for sure. But before we get too lost in the future, let's take a step back and look at some real-world examples of how these concepts are being applied today.
Yeah, let's see how the theory translates into actual successful campaigns.
Sounds good.
Okay, so give us the inside scoop on some campaigns that really knocked it out of the park, and most importantly, what lessons you, the listener, can take away from them.
All right, let's dive in. All right, so let's start with this campaign by like a big athletic wear company,
Okay.
They were trying to promote their new line of running shoes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, their goal was to reach like those hardcore runners, the ones who are really passionate about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they also wanted to appeal to like casual joggers and people who are just into fitness in general.
So a pretty broad audience, but still focused on like the athletic market.
Exactly. And it was a perfect situation for using programmatic advertising.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, they were able to reach those specific groups of people without wasting money on folks who'd rather, stay on the couch.
Smart targeting.
Exactly. And they didn't just rely on programmatic. They also used influencer marketing.
Oh, interesting. So how did that work?
They partnered with some fitness influencers on social media, people who had a lot of followers and credibility.
Yeah.
And those influencers created like authentic content featuring the shoes.
So it wasn't just like a straight up ad, it was more integrated into their regular posts.
Exactly. It felt more genuine, more relatable.
Makes sense.
And at the same time, they were using programmatic to target ads to people who had shown an interest in running fitness, that kind of thing.
So they were hitting potential customers from multiple angles.
Exactly, reinforcing the message.
That's clever. But how did they know if it actually worked? Like, did people actually buy the shoes?
That's the key, right? They didn't just focus on like vanity metrics, like how many people saw the ad or clicked on it.
So not just impressions and clicks.
Nope. They tracked conversions, which means they measured how many people actually bought the shoes after seeing the ad.
Oh, wow. So they could directly connect the ad to the sale?
Yeah, they could see if someone saw the influencer's post or the programmatic ad and then actually made a purchase.
That's impressive. And what were the results?
They were really good. They were able to attribute a significant portion of their sales to this campaign.
So it was a success.
Definitely, they got a strong return on their investment.
That's what it's all about. It's a great example of how combining different tactics can be super effective.
It is, and it shows how important it is to track the right metrics.
Measurement is key.
Absolutely. Okay, so for our next case study, let's talk about something a little different.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
This one's about a small, independent bookstore.
A bookstore. Ah, I love those.
Me too. But they were struggling, you know?
I can imagine it's tough to compete with the big online retailers.
Exactly. Their foot traffic was dwindling, and they knew they had to do something different to survive.
So what did they do?
They decided to embrace programmatic advertising.
Really? Even a small bookstore can use programmatic.
Yeah, but they had to be really strategic with their budget, you know?
Of course, every dollar counts.
Exactly. So instead of trying to reach everyone, they focused on hyperlocal targeting.
Hyperlocal targeting, what's that?
It means they only showed their ads to people within a specific radius of their store.
Oh, so like people who lived or worked nearby.
Exactly. People who were actually likely to visit the store in person.
That makes sense.
And they also used data to target people who had shown an interest in specific genres or authors that they stocked.
So they were basically curating their ad campaigns to match their inventory.
Exactly. It was like a virtual storefront that mirrored their physical one.
That's so smart. It feels way more personal than just seeing another generic book ad.
And the results were amazing. They saw a big increase in foot traffic and a boost in sales.
So they were able to fight back against the online giants.
They were. It proves that even small businesses can compete in the digital age if they use programmatic intelligently.
I love that. It gives me hope for all the small businesses out there.
Me too. It's inspiring. So, we've been talking a lot about the present and the past of digital advertising, but what about the future?
Yeah, what's next? What big changes are coming that are going to impact you, the listener?
Well, one technology that has the potential to really shake things up is blockchain.
Blockchain. Like the thing with cryptocurrency.
It is connected to cryptocurrency, but it's much bigger than that. Think of it like a digital ledger that keeps track of every transaction and piece of information.
Okay, I'm following.
And it's all very secure and transparent because it's decentralized, meaning no single entity controls it.
So it's like a public record that can't be tampered with.
Exactly. And in the world of advertising, this could be huge, especially when it comes to ad fraud.
Ad fraud.
Yeah. You know those fake clicks and bots that inflate impressions and cost advertisers a ton of money?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Well, blockchain could potentially eliminate that problem.
Seriously, no more fake clicks. That would be amazing.
It would. And it's not just about saving money for advertisers. Blockchain could also give you, the listener, more control over your data.
Oh, how so?
You could choose to share your data with advertisers and potentially even get rewarded for
Right,
it.
so I could get paid for my data.
It's a possibility. It's all about transparency and control.
That's pretty cool. But what about those voice assistants that everyone's using these days? Are they going to change the advertising game too?
Absolutely. Voice search and conversational advertising are definitely on the rise.
So like talking to Alexa and getting ads?
Not exactly. It's more about creating a natural and helpful experience.
Okay, give me an example.
Imagine you ask your voice assistant for a restaurant recommendation. And it says something like, there's a great Italian place just a few blocks away, and they're offering a special discount for first-time customers this week. Would you like me to make a reservation?
Wow, that's pretty seamless.
It is. It feels more like a conversation than an ad.
And as AI gets better, those experiences are only going to get more sophisticated.
Exactly. Imagine asking your voice assistant to help you plan a vacation, and it not only suggests destinations, but also serves up ads for flights, hotels, activities, all tailored to your preferences.
Okay, that is seriously cool. It's like digital advertising is becoming a personal assistant.
It kind of is, but with all these advancements, we have to remember that consumer behavior is always changing.
That's true. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow.
Exactly. Marketers need to be adaptable and stay ahead of the curve.
So we've talked about the past, the present, and the future of digital advertising. But before we wrap things up, I want to pose a question to you, the listener. With all this rapid evolution, what skills do you think will be crucial for marketers in the next 5 years? What will it take to thrive in this ever-changing world?
Ooh, that's a good one. It is a really good question to think about, like, what skills are going to be essential for marketers moving forward.
Definitely. Like, we've seen how much things have changed already.
I think adaptability is going to be absolutely key, you know?
Adaptability.
Yeah, like being able to roll with the punches and, embrace the
Oh,
new.
totally.
Yeah,
Being able to learn and adapt quickly.
exactly. Marketers are going to need to be comfortable with, like, constantly learning new technologies and exploring those emerging platforms and just, adjusting their strategies as they go.
That's so true.
Yeah.
What worked last year might be completely obsolete next year.
Exactly. So yeah, being open to change is super important.
It's not enough to just be like an expert in one thing anymore.
Nope. Got to be a digital chameleon, always evolving.
Love that analogy. But it's not just about the tech side of things, right?
Right. It's also about understanding the human element, you know?
The human element.
Yeah, data is important, of course, but it's not everything.
So it's not just about crunching numbers.
Nope. Marketers need to be able to connect with their audience on an emotional level.
Yeah.
Tell compelling stories, build genuine relationships.
So it's a blend of art and science.
Exactly. You need those analytical skills to leverage data and technology, but you also need that creativity and empathy to craft messages that resonate with real people.
Finding that sweet spot where data meets creativity.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
I think we've covered a ton of ground today.
We have.
From like the history of digital advertising to programmatic, the importance of data targeting those emerging trends like AI and blockchain.
It's been a really interesting conversation.
I agree. And, for you listening, I hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of how digital advertising works, how it's changing, and how it impacts you every day.
Definitely, whether you're a marketer or just someone who sees ads online, understanding these things is super important.
It really is. It's like the language of the digital world.
That's a great way to put it.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
As we've discussed, digital advertising is constantly changing, right?
Yeah, it's a fast-paced world.
New technologies pop up, consumer behavior evolves, the rules of the game are constantly being rewritten.
It's true.
So the question I want you to think about is this: how will you stay ahead of the curve?
Ooh, that's a good one to ponder.
How will you thrive in this exciting and ever-changing world of digital advertising? And on that note, I want to thank you all for joining us on Beyond the Code with Simba for this deep dive into digital advertising.
It's been a pleasure.
Make sure you subscribe to the show and follow us on social media for more deep dives into fascinating topics that'll help you navigate the digital world.
We'll see you next time.
Until then.